Hey there, Startup Weekend. This is ARRG.help, formerly known as Startup Weekend. We want to tell you to stop saying ARG or UG and start saying ah. The problem we try to solve is a lot of people, small and medium-sized businesses, are saying, I need to innovate now. There's too many resources. It's hard to know which ones to trust, and which ones do I know are a good use of my time. COVID has moved faster than we can react to it, especially small and mid-sized businesses. And for the purposes of this weekend, we focused on restaurants, which have been hit especially hard, as well as food service workers. Most of those restaurants as well, they lack the traditional or they just lack the resources to know how to innovate quickly. They've been doing the same things for years. A lot of other Main Street businesses are in the same boat where they have relationship-based businesses and foot traffic, and they just don't know how to adapt quickly, or the world has adapted faster than they could. 80% of the economy is small and medium-sized businesses or non-farm GDP, if you're familiar with that term. Those businesses are not producing anywhere near what they used to. They absolutely have to pivot. And with an overwhelming amount of resources scattered across the web and unknown reliability, most of them are asking who can help, who do they trust, what do they do next? So ARRG.help, we provide them with a platform that gives them curated resources and connections that help them create innovation processes now to build their business's future. We have a little bit of a recipe for that. So we take one part urgency startup weekend, 2, 3 days max, maybe even a couple of hours to get people the process they need. Maybe that's a card sort or something like that. Some sort of Google design sprint kit thing, or maybe from Mozilla, a design thinking activity. Think of it that way. Um, and we give them the structure and the urgency to begin iterating and producing something immediately. The well-defined processes and peer-reviewed guided resources whenever they stumble is great. And we also are hoping to work with other freelancers and companies that have excess capacity to provide services for people who need help now and they're just totally overwhelmed. And finally, we'd like to serve that need. To build this solution, we would like to leverage existing resources. So I've already mentioned the Google Sprint Kit. That's one. YouTube classes, Udemy, Coursera, MIT's open coursework. We reached out to a MOOC, a friend of one of our founders, a MOOC creator who has like 140,000 students who've joined his class. We have about, I think, 30 or 40,000 people in subreddits that our group moderates collectively, which is pretty great. We also want to do a pull merge peer review system, sort of like GitHub, but make it a little bit more friendly for non-techies. And then finally, we have over 5,000 LinkedIn connections between us. Should help us find freelancers, small businesses, and others to act as guides and to create them. The product architecture will also rely upon Spectrum.chat for support, and we'll be building it in probably a variety of technologies as yet to be determined. Between us, we have 50 years of combined entrepreneurial experience, over 50,000 community connections, full stack expertise across the startup life cycle. You could do a user story and then tell you a bit about our team. So our user story, since we're focusing on restaurants for the purposes of this weekend, is as a restaurant, I want to figure out how to create a website or get my menu online today. If they did search that on the web, they would get a page like this, which sort of looks like Hulu, and that would provide them with a variety of resources. If you check down the description and you'd like to explore our desktop or mobile app prototypes, feel free to do so. Um, but essentially, it would just return something that will allow them to maybe find freelance web designers near them or find menu uploading services if there's a freelancer who does that for restaurants, something like that. We talked to a few people and they said it would be helpful. Um, and, they didn't tell us how much they would pay for it, but they said that that would be super useful, especially for some of the restaurants that are less technical. This is a look at our mobile app real quick. This is a wizard that walks people through really simply what industry they work in, what needs they have, and when they need it done, and then returns the results that they need right then and there. And it's a mix of services that they can hire right away, and it's also a mix of classes and things that they can self-direct to get better over time, as well as local resources and groups and communities online like Reddit that they could reach out to for help if they should need it. We spoke to about, I guess, over a dozen business owners. We have a Reddit thread out, and I think now with about 30,000 people that have seen it. We're waiting for responses and getting some of those rolling in. Response has been pretty great so far. It seems like it's timely, and while it's not the newest of ideas, it still is very topical, and nobody's really doing it in a good, curated, friendly way. Finally, leave you with our end quote here. So when you say ARRG or UGG, we say calm down, you landlubber, and how can we help? Thanks very much. This has been ARRG.help.